without a shadow of a doubt, there is a circling sun. There's a firmament above us. And individuals like Fake Jake, as you see here with his clown hat, is working hard to try to debunk God's created flat earth model with the circling sun, just like a wristwatch.
He says, I'm trying hard to debunk God's created flat earth model. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where's your proof that God created that flat earth model? It looks to me like you got an AE map, which I can argue is just a flattened down globe. And then you got an actual wristwatch. And so you're trying to show a picture of a grainy AE map, which is just a cartoon. It's just CGI. And then a watch, which could be made by anybody. And then you're saying that that is God's created flat earth. Okay. And your proof is what? Where's your proof that that is God's created flat earth? Gotta hear it.
Which is a 100% representation of the world we live in.
A 100% representation. Okay, here's your problem with saying that. The image on the left doesn't show a moon or a sun. So you don't have a moon or a sun. So that's not a 100% representation. And you personally have never went and mapped out the continents. You don't know for sure how big Australia is versus how big Africa is versus how big you don't know. You've never been there. So now you're going to say that's a 100% representation of the earth, even though it's missing the sun and the moon. And then what do we have on the right? A wristwatch. You're going to tell me a wristwatch is a 100% representation of the earth? Get out of here, bro. So this guy's making absolute claims. This is a 100% representation. I'm here to admit that I don't know what this place is, but I can tell you that this wristwatch and this CGI image are not a 100% representation of where we live. So far he's insulted me and told you that a wristwatch and a CGI image are God's 100% representation of the earth. Gotcha. Okay.
With the two hands on the wristwatch, the hour hand represents the moon. The minute hand represents the sun, which moves a bit faster. And obviously, they circle around, just like the sun and the moon, over the flat earth model.
Okay, so the minute hand is a big, long hand. It's not a ball over the top of that wristwatch. So if you're going to say it's a 100% representation, so you're saying the sun is a big arm that sticks out of the middle at the North Pole. So you're telling me if I go to the North Pole, I'm going to find arms sticking out of the center of the world? That would be an actual representation of what I'm looking at. He's trying to tell you a ball over the top of an AE map is now the same thing as an arm sticking out of the middle.
RV did nothing but show a CGI rendering of the AE map with a circling sun. It's literally a cartoon, and he's saying this cartoon proves the circling sun path. No, it does not. RV didn't do any observations or any scientific experiments whatsoever. He didn't visit any of the scientific websites.
You mean the same scientific websites that push the globe model? Absolutely ridiculous. What a complete joke. Let's continue on.
Suncalc.org tells you where the sun and the moon are with pretty precise accuracy. So it's the observable data for where the sun's going to rise and set, for instance, which is my argument. And so what RV has done is say he won't use any of the observable data or use any of the websites because they push the globe model. You see how that works? So he now has basically omitted all official observable data, and he says they push the globe. So therefore, he's not going to use any websites. So what he does is he shows people a cartoon of the sun going in a circle, right? A cartoon. And he says that this proves circling sun. So when I go to the websites which say that the sun is going to rise out of the southeast and set to the southwest, which is the opposite direction than his supposed circling sun, he claims that those websites don't count and that you can't use them, and he won't use them because they push the globe model. Here's where I'm going to absolutely destroy him. It's going to be really fun because I actually, in 2017, had somebody south of the Tropic of Capricorn do an observation. And a lot of you guys who were here in 2017 will remember the end of the fake flat Earth. So, Tropic of Capricorn runs through Australia right here. See? See? So Tasmania is south of the Tropic of Capricorn. You can barely see it on this map. It's just a little island. I'll show you on SunCalc, but Tasmania is down here, and the sun's going to rise out of the southeast and set to the southwest. And I'm going to show you the observation right here.
It is the 18th of the 10th, 2017, Devonport, Tasmania. Currently watching the sun starting to set right now. My last field of view. It is currently now setting. I'm not sure if you can see that out correctly or not. There we go. You have to forgive me, I'm using a sun filter. There we go, 260 degrees, just south of west.
You see that, Russian vids? That's called an observation. So this guy starts the video and says, it's October the 10th. I'm in Devonport, Tasmania. And he's got his compass pointed at the sun setting. See how that works? A guy in Tasmania saying the date, pointing his compass at the sun, and giving an azimuth reading about 260. 260 south of west. Now, that website that you are scared of, that you won't use, let's see what it says. Okay, so let me repeat this. So I had a guy in Tasmania on October the 10th in 2017 point his compass at the sun when it's going down. The reason I wanted somebody south of the Tropic of Capricorn is because I was hearing that the sun was coming up from the ice wall and setting towards the ice wall. So if I back it up, you're seeing the sun come from down here and set down here towards Antarctica. Meanwhile, the sun on a circular path on the Tropic of Capricorn should be running right through the middle of Australia and then back up north. So they should never see the sun in Tasmania rising from the ice wall if there's only one circling sun. So what I'm showing you guys is that this reading right here for the sunset says 260 degrees right here. 260 degrees, and then it matches the compass reading from that guy in Tasmania right here. See? 260 degrees. So he says October the 10th, I'm in Devonport, Tasmania. Here's the sun going down. And then he points his compass at the sun. we get a 260 reading. There it is. Okay, nice and clear, 260. Because he did 2 observations. He did another observation 10 days later, and it sets even further to the south. But I just want to show you guys, this is very important. So this is a man holding a compass, a plastic compass. He says his location. He goes outside and he points it at the sun, gets an azimuth of 260. So then what I do on my end is I pull up SunCalc. I type in October the 10th, 2017. Sunset right here, 260 degrees. So I did a real observation by having one of my subs who lives in a place south of the Tropic of Capricorn point a compass at the sunset. And guess what? It's setting towards the southwest, towards the ice wall, just like I said. Oh, and guess what? The website that RV won't use because he knows it debunks him, it says the same thing. And guys like RV Truth will say, oh, I'm not going to use that website. It pushes the globe model. What an absolute joke. And that's good enough for his subscribers. Meanwhile, I just showed you that the guy in Tasmania with his compass in his hand got the same reading as the website, which debunks the circling sun path. So there you go. I give you a real observation and observable data. While RV, what has he got? He's got nothing but lies and misinformation and disinformation.
Something such as durian fruit, as you see here, only grows in the most tropical regions of this world. They are extremely cold sensitive. They will not survive anything below 75 degrees. So when you have here with Fakey Jakey,
RV is so dumb, he doesn't know how to formulate a shill argument. So he's like, here's some fruit, and fruit only grows in a tropical place. So therefore, fruit equals Fakey Jakey being wrong. Oh, yes. So debunked because of fruit. Oh, that's the one thing I didn't factor into the equation. I was looking at the sunset angles and checking the azimuth and doing real world observations with a dude who lives in Tasmania. Meanwhile, I forgot about fruit. Forgot about the fruit. And if you look in RV's comment section, everyone's kissing his ass like, oh, you debunked him so good. Jake is such a snake. Jake is so evil. Jake is such a liar. Jake is such a shill. Oh, RV, you're such a wonderful truther. And the man's talking about some durian fruit during a response to me about the sun and where it comes up and goes down. And this dude's whipping out a picture of fruit and talking about how this somehow proves his position about the sun going in a circle. Like, what? This is a full-grown man who wants to be listened to and considered an intellectual. I'm going to have a conversation where I have to tell you guys that fruit doesn't have anything to do with the sunset angles. See what I mean? Like when someone makes a video about me and then I get to a point like this, I'm like, oh my God. I have to make a response video where I'm going to have to show fruit and tell people how ridiculous this is. And there's people on the opposite side who are like, wow, RV, what a great video. You debunked that Jake the Snake so good with the Bible flat earth truth of durian fruits.